Westcast
Network.
Now things will start kicking ass, just like it said at the beginning of the program.
Man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
Sending your ass on the jabroni jet to the other side of the territory, brother.
The Alabama Hammer.
Nightmares on the best part of my day. The goods from the wood.
Hot damn.
Welcome to the Goods from the Woods. My name is Rivers Langley.
Pat Riley.
This is good. That man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour. You
And
understand?
today we are talking all things fuzzy, all things adorable. It's cute animals with our guest.
Paige Weldon.
Yeah.
I gotta say, there's a lot with you here, Hunter. There's a lot of adorability in this room. I don't understand. You got like the Venus end covered. I got the Mars end. To put us in like you know an Olympic pantheon. It's like an Olympic pantheon of adorability in this room right here, right now, coming through your radios and all this.
You ride horses?
I've never ridden a horse.
Never ridden a horse?
No.
Oh, it's so much fun. Never even in like a circle at a birthday party?
You know what I did? I rode a pony at a party. Wow. Memories.
Yeah, when I was a kid, there was definitely a few birthday parties that I went to where everybody was riding ponies in circles, and a few times kids would get thrown off. That was a thing that happened, you know.
I got thrown off a horse once.
You got thrown off.
Well, I didn't actually get thrown off. So what happened was I went to one of these sort of retreat things. I was in student government for a minute, and they had a student government retreat, which was the only reason to go to student government, because you would get fed free food. You'd go up to North Georgia. You slept in an old converted stable. There was a hot tub.
Jesus.
Like Jesus. There was a hot tub.
It was the River Jordan. You understand?
Yeah, and we got to ride horses. Like, I'm pretty decent at riding horses, but I completely overestimated my abilities, because you do that whenever you go for, you know, any sort of horse riding thing. Everybody doesn't want to admit that they're a beginner and have to wear the bike helmet.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh yeah, I've ridden horses before, sure. You know, I could handle whatever you got. So they called my bluff and gave me a horse named Shamrock. Shamrock was a beautiful horse, but he was very temperamental.
Yeah.
So whenever I would have to kick him, just keep kicking him to have him go, and he would go off the trail and stuff like that. At one point, we got to an open area, and I just gave him a kick, and he just darted. He just darted forward, like as fast, full gait, full gait, straight forward. And it was in front of like this group of other people that were there. And I looked pretty impressive until the horse stopped, and they didn't put the saddle on properly. The saddle was loose, and he stopped, and I just kind of did one of these things where I just tipped off of the horse, like very slowly, and I kind of just went with it.
Just riding
and
sideways.
the saddle went sideways, and I fell off the horse.
You gotta fall. That's the way to fall.
It is the way to fall. It's not necessarily the most glorious way to
I
fall.
was gonna go fall forward over the horse and get trampled.
Yeah, this was very gentle.
Have you ridden a horse good enough?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a natural at it. I'm a light cavalry man, you understand. I rode a horse in Ireland, of all places.
Oh, wow. That sounds like fun.
I love horse riding. If I had my Wii, I would do it all the time, you understand.
Nice. Yeah, I got to ride a horse in New Mexico at Philmont when I went with the Boy Scout troop. And yeah, they gave me the most temperamental horse. Like,
Yeah.
He would get right next to the edge of the mountain and stuff and just scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, Shamrock kicked up, which I think that's the most manly I've ever felt in my life, is when he kicked up and I was holding up on the saddle. I felt like
I just like sitting on there like you cavalry officer.
I know. I
You
felt
what
like
I'm
I should be in a deodorant commercial or something like that, like a Stetson cologne commercial.
Trotting is the hard part because it's just like and it's rough on the junk out there, in your ass and all this. But that's the hard part, is the trotting. But it looks good on parade. You understand?
I was very little when I rode the horse, and I don't remember it, but I do remember that there are these amazing photos of me dressed as a cowgirl sitting on a horse.
This show is already cute. We're not even talking about animals yet.
Did you guys ever do any sort of camel rides or elephant rides or anything like that?
Yeah, I did that when I was in Carthage once.
I have always wanted to ride one into town, like
Yeah,
a
well, I
proper
mean,
triumph.
Like Hannibal, yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
just
I like
insist
it.
on having a traditional Indian wedding, and you can ride a elephant.
Are you guys going to do that
That's
for your
a lot
wedding?
No,
better
we're
than-
not.
I bet
I
I'm
don't
breaking
think so.
wine glasses. I gotta say,
Yeah.
Indians got it all over.
Yeah. Well, you could get the elephant to crush the glass.
Oh, that'd be even better.
Mazel tov. That'd be the shit. Yeah.
He could crush a whole bucket or some shit.
Yeah. A glass bucket.
I won't get me an elephant. Seriously, I won't get me one.
gonna
Say
get
like Hannibal or something.
As a pet?
Wait, no, as a companion in life. Because people like the Mahout and all that, they grow up with the elephant and they're like one with the elephant. The elephant rider and all that stuff. Elephants are smart animals. We talk about animals. People talk about your whales and your monkeys and shit like this. Elephants smarter than both of them.
Elephants mourn their dead. They have funerals.
Exactly. Elephants know God.
And they rescue other animals too,
And they do construction.
and they're kings too.
Yeah, Babar.
royalty.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Problem I have with this. First of all, Celesteville has to be the stupidest name that anybody has ever named a town. And second of all, you remember there was the Rhino King Rataxes?
Yeah,
He was
sure.
like the rival kingdom in Babar. And he spends all his time in Babar's kingdom. And who is running like his Rhino Kingdom when he's over there hanging with Babar and everything?
It's
Rhino Regent.
Yeah, a Rhino Regent or some kind of Elias Sejanus type who's just trying to grab power in Rataxis' stead when he's out there.
some jackal.
Yeah, poor government Rhino Land here.
I know they could be overrun with poachers at any moment.
I know, that's why you don't see Babar anymore.
Yeah.
Poachers got him.
So, Paige, what's your favorite animal?
I love dogs. I'm all about dogs, which is kind of boring, but I grew up with dogs, and they're the best.
You got a doggy?
I don't have a dog right now. I can't have them in my apartment building. But at my parents' house, they have 4 dogs now because they got an additional dog after I moved out because they couldn't take it, I guess. We have Noelle, Sam, June, and Maybe. Those are the dogs, yeah.
Oh, like Arrested Development,
Like
maybe?
Arrested Development.
Awesome.
Did your parents name it Maybe, or did you name it Maybe?
I think that we decided together. The way we name our dogs is by when we get them. So, like, Noelle we got at Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Sam we got at 4th of July. And June we got in June. But hers is spelled June, like in Benny and June.
Okay.
And then Maybe we got in May.
Perfect.
Because I have a cat. My parents have a cat named Maybelline, and we call her Maybe sometimes. And she's ridiculous. She's the only cat I've ever seen that fetches.
Yeah?
Yeah, she fetches. You throw my dad's a smoker. He used to, I guess it was a convenient way to get around actually having to throw away his cigarette packs. He would crumple up the soft packs of the cigarettes, and the cellophane drives the cat nuts.
Yeah.
So you just throw it on the ground, and the cat would run after it and chase it, and have 2 of them hanging out of its mouth. And I think at a certain time there would just be 200 crumpled up cigarette packs just hanging around the house. And we couldn't throw them away because we were just the cat might have its favorites, and we might throw away its favorite toy.
Yeah.
My grandmama had a cat that ate jelly donuts.
Wait, what?
They have those long, the Krellas, whatever
Yeah,
they call
yeah,
them.
yeah.
And he'd take off a piece of the donut, and Raul would come up on the table and he'd eat the jelly donut. He was a fat cat, you understand?
I think my mom had a cat right when I was born that named Elvis. There's a picture of me with this, the fattest cat you've ever seen.
The hillbilly cat.
Exactly. And I don't know. I think it died pretty early on, and I didn't have
Like Elvis.
Like
like
Elvis.
Elvis. It was before his time.
He was jelly donut fat, and
That's right. But I got.
did he have a thing for underage cats?
Yeah. Who knows, man?
Yeah.
Can you really blame him, though?
But I went basically my entire childhood without a pet until I was in Boy Scouts, and I got I had to do the it was pet management merit badge or some shit, or something ridiculous.
course.
And in order to do that, I had to have a pet. So I talked my parents into getting a rabbit. So I had a rabbit named Chewbacca.
Of course.
For most of my childhood.
Did it resemble Chewbacca?
Not at all. It was female and it was gray. It was not even close. But I just decided I needed to name it Chewy, so we did.
You call it Chewy.
We did, yeah. And it was fun. It just kind of hung out in the backyard. I used to walk it when I was a kid.
On a leash?
Yeah. Get a little leash because he was just in we built a hutch for it, and it would hang out in the hutch all day. And then when I come home from school, put it on a leash and walk around the backyard.
We had a pet turtle. We had a pet rabbit, and we had a pet guinea pig. And the rabbit was like one of those like short hair black rabbits, and we named that one Felix, and we named the guinea pig Oscar.
Oh, perfect.
Perfect, because the guinea pig was all just hairy and just. Yeah. And I remember my dad had a running antagonism between him and Felix the rabbit, and we would let I could hold the rabbit, my mom could hold the rabbit. The rabbit would attack my dad like it was the rabbit from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Like, my dad would try and pull the rabbit out, and you just hear, "God damn it!" And he would, like, come out, and he would just be bleeding down the hand. Because the rabbit would always get him, and he would just be, fucking rabbit, I'm going to fry him up.
They got some kind of teeth.
Yeah, so when Oscar died, I remember my dad and I having a little, I was like probably 6, and we had a little burial in the back, and we buried him, and we made a little, take the hats off for Oscar, and we made him a little tombstone. Yeah. And my dad did the whole thing of when a pet dies, that sort of talk with my dad, that very sort of Mr. Rogers, when a pet dies sort of thing, very gentle, very nice. When Felix died, my dad threw him in a garbage bag and just put him in the trash.
Maybe he didn't like Tony Randall.
I know, it was just like, fuck yeah, it's dead. And he just like threw it away. And I was just like, well, what happened to Felix? And he's just like, I got home from school. He's like, that rabbit died. Are we going to bury him? No, I put him in the trash. Deserved it. He was a bastard.
Were they Tony Randall and Jack Klugman, Oscar and Felix?
I like to think so.
Mathau and
I'd like to. I'm more of a Jack Klugman fan. So, Paige, did you grow up with dogs like your whole life, or was it?
When I was little, before I was born, my parents had a cat named Bud. So when I was very little, we just had one cat named Bud, like from Married with Children. I hear stories about before I was born. They had a Kelly too, but Bud chased her away. They both went out one day, and then only Bud came back. He was super tough and ruthless. And then when we moved, when I was in kindergarten, we got a dog, and then we just kept getting dogs. And at one point, we had 3 cats and 3 dogs. So I always had pets.
Did you push getting more dogs, or was it a thing that your folks were?
Well, we got a second dog, and then the third dog was like a gift from my dad to my mom for their anniversary. And then my dad just keeps giving my mom dogs as gifts. I don't know when he's going to stop. Because we had our first dog, Hannah, she died. So a little after she died, we got June. And then, so we would have had 4 dogs already. Anyway, I don't know when he's going to stop. He just keeps bringing home more dogs. And that's
do you have to walk them and everything, honey?
I don't, because I don't live there anymore, but I did. I like walking them. I just take them to the park and let
the
them
more
run
dogs,
around.
dogs can be a handful. My brother and sister-in-law got 2 of them, and between the 3 of us, there's always somebody that's on dog duty pretty much every day.
It's insane going to their house. 4 dogs.
Do they have
always on
a
you.
fence in the backyard, or is it?
Yeah, they have a big backyard. They run around out there, but they're always fighting with each other. Running around, or they're like on top of you. One of those things.
That sounds like a very cute home.
It's a very furry home.
Well, let's not take that the wrong way. You go in there and they're watching the Disney Robin Hood or something like that. Playing your Sonic the Hedgehog, you understand?
So what breed is your favorite breed of dog?
Oh my gosh. I really like poodles, like toy poodles.
Really?
I think they're super cute. They look like teddy bears.
The hair ain't naturally like that, right? You gotta the barber has to cut it like that, right?
Well, yeah, you can get them with those big puffs on their feet and stuff. Naturally, they're already cute. I don't know why.
So you're anti dog topiary when it comes to.
It seems dumb to me, but I don't know. I understand.
It's a natural kind of dog.
I didn't ever have dogs, but my grandfather had hunting dogs. So go visit my grandfather's house, and there was
Like greyhounds? Like he's a fox
No,
hunter
no,
or
no,
something
like
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 that?
bloodhounds.
no coon dogs, just like hound dogs.
Okay.
And but yeah, there was Sport and Spot and Brownie, and Sport and Spot were cool, and Brownie was so crazy that he was just in the barn all the time. Like he just stayed in the barn, and we kept the barn shut and locked. And like you could just walk by the barn, and you would just hear like just the dog going nuts in there. So yeah, didn't hang out with Brownie too much.
We had when I was growing up, we had a dog named Brutus who was half wolf and half lab. My dad won him in a bar bet or something like that. And it was
right.
like
yeah.
the way
makes
Han
sense.
Solo won the Millennium Falcon.
Exactly. And Brutus was like my dad's companion. And then he met my mom. My dad met my mom, and
Brutus met your mom.
Brutus met my mom. But Brutus was ridiculous because he had
He
that
stabbed
wolf.
Caesar outside the forum.
Yeah, he had that
of
wolf
control.
mentality. So whenever my dad would be out of town for work, my Brutus would say, "Oh, now I'm the alpha male," and he started sleeping on my dad's side of the bed.
Whoa.
And my mom would push him off. Like, Brutus, get off the bed. Brutus would keep getting back on, because this is his right. Alpha dog's away. I'm the man now. I run this place. What the baby gonna stop me? No. So what happened was there was a phone next to the bed, and my mom was talking to my dad. And my dad was like, "Well, put the phone up to Brutus," and puts the phone up to Brutus, and my dad just berates the dog through the phone. Dog never went on that side of the bed ever again because he was afraid that Dad was going to jump through this weird little box on the side of the bed and just strangle him if he was.
Someday I think we need to do a whole show about Pat's dad.
Yeah.
Because there's an unending well of
need to have
Pat's
Pat's
dad
dad on the
stories.
show.
Yeah, the other he probably doesn't understand what podcasts are and would be very scared of the idea.
But he understands putting the fear in a dog over
Through
the
a phone.
phone.
Yeah. Brutus also Brutus was ridiculous. Like he would pee on smaller dogs. He would do a thing where he would lift his leg, and smaller dogs would sniff at him, and the dog would take a squirt on him. And one time, one guy threatened to sue my dad because they just gotten their poodle groomed, and Brutus took a leak on the dog. But my favorite Brutus story was one time. And Brutus was great. Like, when I was a baby, I would yank on him and tug on him, and there would be all these photographs of Brutus just looking really discontented.
Yeah.
But just, I'm yanking on him and stuff, just get this thing off of me. But one time, Brutus, there were these, we had a fence, and the fence had holes in it because we just moved into our house. And so Brutus was on a chain, and these three guys tried to break into the house by climbing over the fence. And what Brutus did was he tied one of them around the tree with his chain, and broke the chain off, chased the other one off, and my dad heard some commotion from the backyard. He walked out to the gate, and there was this one guy just hanging upside down by his leg on the other side of the fence, and he didn't know what was holding him up. He's like, "Get the dog off of me!" And Brutus had wedged himself against the fence and had this guy by the leg. And just holding him upside down, and the dog had already there's this guy tied up around the tree by the chain, and the dog he was insane. Like,
That
he was
is
just
one hell of a dog.
Oh, he was fantastic.
Like the Home Alone of dogs.
I know.
Puts Lassie to shame.
I know.
I
He
know.
was and my mom had a cat named Zeus, and they were marked the same roughly. Like, Zeus was all like a tuxedo cat, and Brutus was a tuxedo dog.
I like the classical name
Yeah.
for your animals.
And Zeus was my mom's cat when she was a kid, like a teenager. So this was like meant to be Brutus and Zeus. And they used to have a tag team thing where my grandma lived by a lake, and there was a dock, and Zeus used to chase the ducks out into the pond, into the lake, and Brutus would run off the dock and just dive bomb the ducks. It's a tag team, man. It
I
was
was thinking down to YouTube
Bet-
or something there, because you could have got down up on there.
better than the Legion of Doom. They
Million
were the
views.
Legion of Doom.
Well, they were
really.
more like Brutus, Beefcake, and Zeus.
Yeah.
They were going by strict nomenclature.
Yeah.
Honey, what's your favorite animal?
I mean,
I mean, we know you like the dog, but I mean, in the wild, you understand? It can be an invertebrate, even.
I like a good hedgehog.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking about Agora rabbits. They're real big and fluffy.
Don't they make sweaters out of them?
Probably. It would make sense.
Isn't that what Angora is?
I think so.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a mamunga?
No.
They're Japanese, and they kind of look like hamsters, but they don't. They're special, and they can fly like flying squirrels.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Awesome.
Flying hamsters.
Yeah, basically flying hamsters.
So they're little hamsters, but they have little
yeah
flaps right
and
under
they,
the arms.
They're
Hamtaro.
white. Yeah, very
Remember that shit?
very Hamtaro.
That was good shit, that show.
Oh, I love Hamtaro.
Who did you like?
Just Hamtaro. He's
Okay.
the best one, I think.
I like Boss.
All right. Let's
Remember
see.
that? It was these cute hamsters.
What is
No.
Hamtaro?
It was an anime, and it was these just cute as shit little helpful hamsters. And I used to love this show. I would watch
That's
this
so
show.
accurate.
It was so cute. It was just cute. There's no other way to put it. One of them was named Oxnard too. Remember that?
I don't remember.
One of them's name was Oxnard because I had the official Hamtaro book, and every time I see the place up in I think Frank going there today. See wrestling Oxnard. I think of Hamtaro. It was a good show. I thought it could have been huge, but it was only big for like a little while.
So they just go on adventures and
Yeah.
save
Yeah,
the day.
they
Well, they had a girl. Remember they had one of them underage anime girls, and wasn't she their owner?
I think.
And like I think there was a romantic subplot with her and some boys, and maybe some girls too in the Japanese
Oh,
version.
I don't think so.
And I think the hamsters would help her with that shit. It was good shit though. It was all hamsters. It was Bijou. That was the sexy girl hamster and all that shit with little pigtails and talked in French and everything. It was a good show.
Do you like hamsters?
You know, I never really had them. I never tried them. You know, do they taste good with collard greens or something? But no, I never cared for animals that you have to keep in like a cage like that.
They eat their own poops too.
Well, you know, but doggies do that.
I know,
koalas eat their own shit all the time, and it shit's green, and they have to. You know that they eat they eat their own shit and they eat their parents' shit so they can digest the eucalyptus better.
This is adorable.
I was gonna say one thing. Do you remember the little koala? It was on Nickelodeon.
The little koala.
Adventures of the Little Koala.
No.
It was one of the greatest shows in the history of television, and when they got rid of that at Nickelodeon and Count Duckula, I will not watch Nickelodeon no more
What
until
about
they bring
Cat
them shows.
Dog?
This is before Cat Dog. See, that was
Okay.
post Little Koala and Count Duckula, so I was not any of Cat
Is this
Dog.
Nick Jr. or Nickelodeon?
Yeah, it was Nick Jr.
Oh, okay.
It was good shit.
This is pre-Busy World of Richard Scarry?
Well, pre the show, but not the books.
Well, yeah, the books are ancient. Right?
I think you called it the Workers' Paradise, Pat.
Well, there's a sociologist named John Levy Martin who did this guy's nuts. He's absolutely nuts. And he did this one paper about kind of the symbolism of the workers and the social classes of the animals on Busy World of Richard Scarry. And all the predators were in leadership positions, like the lion and stuff like that. And all of kind of the prey animals, the herbivore prey animals were all the workers. So they were all like,
That's a good point.
you know, mechanics or street sweepers or something like that. And he talked about like kind of the animal semiotics of the different
But
sort of
Loli
classes.
had such je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, Loli, I don't know what Loli did.
Loli, remember Loli was a worm.
He just drove the Apple car.
Wait, he wore one shoe.
Yeah, well-
Did he buy him in a set and like alternate days? You gotta wonder about this.
Also, you got the little alpine hat.
Yeah, he
The feather.
did. And it was almost kind of European because remember they would all drive those little cars, that
Yeah.
looked like those little things mailmen.
Yeah,
drive
I didn't
and all
know.
that
I
shit.
didn't know if like Loli was a Morris dancer or something like that. You know,
A mama. I just like Officer Murphy. Remember
Yeah.
him with the car?
He's
the
a dog.
motorcycle. Yeah, and
he's
he
a
was
dog,
in position
authority
leadership.
position.
So it's like
right there.
it's like Animal Farm for a new generation.
More,
sort of thing.
not really. I mean, it's not as heavy-handed as Animal Farm.
Right, right.
Because I mean, the pigs are ruling the roost in Animal Farm.
So
and
was he saying this was subtext or this was?
It was
the
kind
way
of a
it
little
was?
bit of a subtext, like division of labor sort of thing.
It was
okay.
it was very busy because there was a lot in the illustrations,
Yeah.
and that's why it was a busy world because you
Well-
could look and where's Loli? This it was better than Waldo, and it was before Waldo.
Yeah. Well, it has to be busy because if the machine stops turning,
Yeah,
what of society?
it's a scary world.
It was Marxist,
scary
really,
world.
because they lived to work. They own the modes of production, and they basically just lived to work all the time. Not necessarily a world I would want to be in, but they looked happy.
Did you have hamsters? Were you a small animal?
We
at
didn't
all?
we never had hamsters or anything because we had cats. But I had a friend who had a hamster. and I just think they're creepy. I don't know, they're real cute, but
They shit too much.
I just have this vivid memory of being at my friend Stephanie's house, and she left for a minute, and I was just sitting in her room watching her hamster. And I was like, oh, he's so cute. And then he just like picked up a piece of his poop and just ate it. I was like, I guess I'm glad I can't have hamster.
They'll eat their babies too.
Oh my god.
Pigs will do that too.
Yeah.
No limit.
They're career oriented. They're all about working on that wheel. And
By the way, I just want to say there was no shit eating, no baby eating on Hamtaro. They got rid of that aspect of
That
it.
would not have been cute.
did you guys ever have the hamster in the class sort of thing? The class hamster?
Oh, like Wonder Pets.
No, I'm talking about like
You know
you
what I'm talking about?
have. Okay, maybe it's like that. I don't know. Wonder Pets.
It's a TV show.
Yeah, I figured that.
Yeah, with like these pets, and they're like superheroes at night. And the duck has like a speech impediment. But it's awful because it's all like an operetta, and they sing the whole time.
It's really creepy.
What channel is this on?
It's on PBS. PBS Kids.
I didn't have a classroom.
We had a classroom hamster in 4th grade, and his name was Hampton. And but like the
As you do.
hamster.
But the thing was that the teacher, her son was named Hampton. So she was really jockeying for when we had to name something in the class, it was always jockeying for naming it Hampton. Like, she was very fixated on that name. She couldn't just name her kid that. She had to name everything that. Like, if she was Adam, the whole universe would be Hampton. Kind of like Marklar.
Maybe she just wanted a hamster and she ended up getting pregnant.
But we had Hampton, and I never got Hampton. The thing was that somebody had lost the hamster.
Wait,
And
they
Hampton
like
would
gave it to the kids?
Yeah,
at night?
yeah, and Hampton was never spoke of again because he disappeared one time.
Oh no!
And it was a sort of thing, very like the oldest Cunningham brother in Happy Days, like, or
Chuck.
the little sister in Family Matters. Or even, well, not like Boy Meets World, but like was never spoke of again. Like, Hampton was never spoke of
He was written
again.
out of the series.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The Brady Bunch's dog,
Yeah.
Tiger.
Tiger, yeah. Well, no, they still reference him. You just never saw him after the first season because
Oh,
they
really?
still had the doghouse out in the back.
That's true. That's true.
He was going to be a bigger part of the show, but the dog died.
He should have been.
They didn't want a
They
replacement.
couldn't
dog.
just find another.
I guess they just couldn't. You couldn't replace Tiger. What were you going to do?
That's nice.
I don't think I ever had a classroom pet, but we did at one point have a bunch of snails that I think we were going to dissect at one point or something. And
This is an adorable animal
I
podcast.
know, but I'm just saying.
Snails are cute.
Snails are
They're
cute.
pretty,
in their
if you
way.
touch their little
Feelers?
tentacle,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
cute.
It is cute.
And then you have those nudist snails. They call them slugs or something like that.
But I think she just had them in a Tupperware container, and somehow they all got out. And and it was like over a weekend.
Very
too.
slowly.
No, that was the thing. It was over a weekend, and we came back, and it was just like 10 just trails of slime, just sort of going every direction from one point of the room, and they all went under the door, and
That's amazing.
Probably got vacuumed
Well,
up. or
they're
something.
easy to follow, though, because you could just follow the slime trail.
Well, no, they just, if I recall, they just disappeared. Like they hit the hallway, and then
They were off and
Maybe
running.
they made it to a lettuce somewhere.
Yeah, we
Maybe
think
they-
the janitor probably
I think
just
they-
vacuumed them up.
Maybe they went to southern France and they're living as tax exiles or some shit. Like that.
Yeah, or
think that-
food.
Or escargot, exactly. Dangerous place for snails.
I mean,
France.
it's kind of cool to be a snail because you get to live in your food, and that's pretty awesome. It's a pretty awesome idea to be.
You're never homeless.
Yeah.
And you don't have to hurry. Snails haven't made.
Good
I mean,
night.
eye stalks are kind of, I mean, snails pull it off, honey. But other than that, ice like your Jar Jar and stuff. Anything with eye stalks is kind of creepy. I
All right.
What's your favorite animal?
don't know, maybe squid or octopus, something like that.
That's pretty good.
I don't know. The cephalopods are wonderful. You ever see cuttlefish?
Yeah, they can. Are those the ones that camouflage?
Yeah. And the sepia ink used to be cuttlefish ink because sepia mean cuttlefish.
Oh.
And you go to I call them cuttlefish because they're that
'Cause,
cute.
yeah.
You go to the like the aquarium or something, and they just stare back at you with them Kermit the Frog type eyes that they have with that strange cephalopod intelligence like that.
You ever look at an octopus and imagine that its big head is actually its nose?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I used to wonder if that was his nose or the back of his head. Yeah, because that's the thing. That's the magic of the octopus. He can be anthropomorphic either way, with a big
Yeah.
fat head or Oh, with a big nose. I used to wonder that as a kid. It's like, is that his nose? I even asked like somebody in an aquarium once, what end is the front? And they said either end. There was an aquarium. This happened when I was in New England. The New England aquarium, there's an octopus got out of the tank. And he just like wandered around the aquarium, went to the gift shop and got him overpriced soda and all this shit. He's just hanging out with like a people.
8 overpriced sodas.
Yeah, and he ate them, exactly. He's just sucking them in through his little jet propulsion thing. Yeah? People are coming by and he's talking about fishes in the tank. This guy's an asshole. This guy owes me money. All this shit. Octopuses, cephalopods in general, wonderful creatures.
They can walk around on land. There are a lot of scary videos on the internet of
like on the beach
octopuses
and
just like
stuff.
approaching you.
Yeah, they'll like steal. Like if you're having like a picnic on the beach, octopuses will get out of the ocean and just steal your shit and go back into the ocean.
I'd invite them. I'd crack them open a beer.
They'll like
with us.
occasionally they'll find them like in trash cans and stuff. Like they'll find their way up the side of a metal trash can.
That's
and
amazing.
Into it, and then they can't get back out.
Imagine
That's
being
not
like
amazing.
the Asian guy that comes by at like 6 a.m. to get the cans, and he reaches in, pulls out octopus.
Oh, yeah.
Although he'd
Yeah.
probably be like dinner, but you know.
Yeah.
Well, some drunk just comes by, and it's like, Jesus Christ, there's a grouch in that thing. It's like Oscar. Oscar died in this thing, and that's his corpse.
I'd like to walk a lobster.
Yeah, me too.
a leash?
My uncle got one once. He got really drunk, and he got one of them live lobsters you get at a supermarket, but he bonded with it on the way home. So then, but the thing is, he lost his license and couldn't drive, so he wanted to bring it back to the sea, the ocean. So he had to call a cab and gives him Uncle Thomas Aquinas. He had to get in a cab with the lobster, and he released it on the beach in the ocean, singing like "Born Free." This all actually happened.
I used to stare at the lobsters in the tank at the grocery store when I was a kid, and it did not put together for the longest time why they were there. I just thought that was just a thing they had at grocery stores.
Yeah, they were scary too, because the antennas are twitching and thing.
There's a sadness.
Oh,
deep
it's horrible.
sad.
Life is like it says. Life is like the lobster tank. Because see, you don't want to be on top because you'll be first to go. You don't want to be on the bottom because you got all the other lobsters crushing you. It's good to be somewhere in the middle. You know, like Horace said. But in the end, you're all just waiting to die. Life is really an analogy for your supermarket.
But sometimes drunk Uncle Tommy comes by.
And he will see that's
saves
what
you.
Every once in a
that's
while.
the Dukes at Mackinac. You know, that's what Tommy plays God. And I thank you, Tommy, if you're out there listening.
I saw a lobster at one of the really crappy bars out. I think it's called Happy Endings, which is the worst name for a bar ever.
Good name for a
Hollywood.
massage parlor, though.
I knew you were going to go there. They have a claw machine, which you grab the lobsters out, and then you get to eat that lobster if you get it, which is kind of a weird irony where there's like a claw machine that gets the lobster, and it's the claw of death for the lobsters. You know,
They had one of those at Redondo Beach a couple of years ago. At that place that used to be Kilkenny's and now it's Breakwall. They had one of those there.
I wonder if anybody asked to just get the lobster and do like an Uncle Tommy sort of thing. Where
I'll
it's
be
like,
honest
it's like, oh, I got a pet. That's awesome.
I'll be honest with you. I have thought, I was walking down Redondo the other day, and you know, you go there and they have all them big crabs that are just waiting to cook at them like Korean places and everything on the pier. And I was like, if I had the money, like just to Scrooge McDuck or to Ted DiBiase, I'd think about buying all them poor crabs and just throwing them back in the water. You know,
But would they survive?
Yeah.
That's
Well,
the
I
thing.
mean, you know, how domestic does a crab get? You know what I'm saying? I mean, what do? They crawl around the bottom and they eat stuff. But I mean, better to die free underneath the waves or be caught by one of the fishermen than die in a restaurant, on an overpriced restaurant on Redondo Beach.
How do you guys feel about when people make Facebook pages for their pets?
I'm friends with a few of my friends' pets.
Me too.
Yeah, I see nothing wrong with that because usually they do it the right way where it's the pictures of the dog, but it's not like the dog's inner monologue, which I'm not above doing any sort of animal inner monologue. I'm not against that whatsoever. I celebrate in that sort of thing. But yeah, on a web presence with that, that's kind of one level too extreme. Rivers, what's your favorite animal?
I like a cassowary. Cassowary is like it's like a big bird, but it's got these huge claws and it'll just fuck you up. It's an Australian animal. Oh. It's not like everything in Australia can kill you. In
Well,
one way or another.
Australian
The women.
animals are so weird. They're so distinct, and I always think that's amazing. Like, that's an amazing piece of evolutionary development.
Yeah.
That's-
They evolved in like geographic isolation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why the marsupials flourished there and mostly died out everywhere else.
But yeah, cassowary is basically the closest thing we got to a velociraptor walking around. I mean, like
Dromaeosaur.
everything on it is sharp and they're aggressive.
Are they cute?
Not really, no. They're
See?
just vicious.
What about your favorite cute animal?
Favorite cute animal? I mean, a kitten's pretty hard to pass up.
Sure.
Kittens with mittens, kittens with tuxedos. I love it.
Yeah, I like
Jackie Fargo.
I like a pit bull too.
Yeah, pit bulls are severely...
I never drank that stuff at Roscoe's, but it's shit like you wouldn't believe.
What the hell is that stuff?
I don't know, but have you
Is
been
it
to
like an energy drink?
Yeah, who wants energy drink with a chicken? And have you been to the Roscoe's Barack Obama went to?
The one on Pico?
I don't think that one, no.
What, they've got like him Barack Obama standing, the president, if you will, with all like the people that work at the Roscoe's, and one of them's holding a pit bull up to the camera. Photo op of the president, and they're still shilling pit bull.
I think it might be owned
Do they
by
can?
the rapper
I was gonna say
Pitbull.
No, it's not.
It's
No.
not?
I think
I thought it would
Have
be.
you ever seen anyone get one? when they
no.
go
I
down?
think they bottle that shit in the back of Roscoe's. That's the only explanation I can think of. I don't see it
Well,
anywhere
there's all
else.
sorts of Pitbull billboards right by the Roscoe's Chicken
Exactly,
and Waffles.
that's what
There's
I mean.
That's the only place in which I see them. So it might be true that there might be a crossover thing where
Yeah.
Pitbull is put out by the Roscoe's people.
I think so, and I think if not that, then at the very least, Pitbull paid for all of the TV screens they have in there that run the weird videos all day, and then ads for Pitbull. That's all it runs is these videos of like artists you've never heard of, and then
Do the videos have pit bulls in them?
occasionally, yes.
Oh, neat.
Hey, do you like birds?
Yeah. I like a bird.
Do you like big flightless ones like Rivers likes, or do you like marine birds, perhaps like your penguin, which is up there in the cuteness?
I love
do
penguins.
penguins, yeah.
There's so many different types.
Yeah, I went to the aquarium in Genoa, and they had this one penguin. So they had the whole setup where there was a little rock island, and this one penguin kept doing this thing where it would jump off the rock, swim around really fast, and then just jump onto the rock, and then jump off and swim. And it did it constantly the entire time. Like that was its. I don't know. I would be. It's sad if it's like a thing of getting away from the like confined area. That was the only way it could deal with the confined area. But I just like to think that he just really enjoyed doing it. Like that was because I think Happy Feet ruined that sort of thing with penguins and me. Like you watch Happy Feet and you're just like, oh man, maybe they don't enjoy being in
Yeah.
those confined areas. It's the same thing with zoos. The older I've gotten, the more sort of weird and kind of conflicted I get about zoos.
Well, the modern ones give them more space and everything.
Were you in Atlanta when William was still around?
Willie B.
Or Willie B, rather?
Yeah, named after William B. Hartsfield, the mayor.
Oh, yeah. Willie B.
My friend Duke has an amazing Willie B story where he went to go see. Willie B was a giant silverback gorilla, and there's a life-size statue of him, and he's immense.
He's
Like
huge.
he's huge. And one time,
He was in Zoo Atlanta.
yeah, Zoo Atlanta, and
The Ghost Gator.
The Ghost Kid.
yeah, the Ghost Gator was there too,
Right
So-
next to the Cyclorama.
Yeah. So the Willie, my friend Duke was there, and he was like in second grade, and Willie B went up to. So there's a window, like there was a window area where you watch the gorillas, and there was this one gorilla that was there, just kind of sitting there, and Willie B kind of goes over, grabs a gorilla, and starts humping it.
Yeah.
Right in front of the window, and his entire second grade class was just horrified as to what Willie B was. Like they weren't horrified, but the teacher was horrified. They were more perplexed.
Yeah.
Planted in the eight.
But he just was like looking at all the kids,
Looking at him in
just
the
like
eyes.
humping this other like female. It could have been a male gorilla. I don't know. It could have been a dominance thing. But yeah, it's just Willie B was. And he lived to be a very long, for a very long time. But I feel kind of conflicted about zoos personally. I don't know what you guys feel.
The modern ones tend to give more space. I went to the Berlin Zoo once, and that was like your old school zoo where they're like just in the little.
It's one of the
cage
original
and all
ones.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to go to the Wild Animal Park in San Diego a lot when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So it's like they're not really in cages, but they're just like out in this big area, and you ride a little train through, and you can see all of them.
Is it good? 'Cause
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go.
I like it. I like the giraffes a lot.
Oh, giraffes are awesome.
Last time I was actually at the San Diego Zoo, I definitely saw a similar thing to that where there were two giraffes trying to fuck. It was just not
I was
happening.
gonna say giraffes are packing because I seen the
But
giraffes.
it was like
at
not
the zoo.
like he kept trying and it kept not working and there was just crowd gathering.
That happens to the best of us.
It was devastating to watch. But and then also I like at the wild animal park you see the giraffes they fight or they hit necks. You see
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Oh, they're hugging." It's like, "No, they're fighting."
We have at the zoo next to where my parents live, the Brevard Zoo. They have giraffes and you can feed them. Like you have
Oh,
the big
yeah.
cookie that you give them $1 and you get the giant. It's big. It's like the size of two hands together, and very thick. And me and my fiance had a running thing that we were saying we were feeding it lasagna because it looked like kind of like Stouffer's lasagna in a way. And my parents thought it was like the weirdest thing. It's like, Jen, did you feed it the lasagna? We need to get some more lasagna.
Well, they got the big tongue. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah, really gross, huge.
They
tongue.
clean their eyes with that thing.
like iguanas. Don't iguanas do that?
I don't
They lick
know.
their
Yeah, they do.
eyes.
Wow.
They do.
But have you seen the kiwi at the San Diego Zoo?
The kiwi is that?
It's the little flightless bird from New Zealand.
I don't think I've seen that.
Oh,
at the
he's
zoo.
badass. You got to go in there, honey. You talk about cute. Oh my God, he just like he only comes out like when it's simulated. It's like it's night in there. But the kiwi place is the best place there because number one, it's cool because it's like enclosed in like this like artificial cave.
Yeah.
So you get out of the heat. And two, they have this wonderful like video about kiwis that has the greatest like kind of late 80s, early 90s elevator music in it. So it's so relaxing. And you see the kiwi when it comes out, and he's cute. He's like it's like if you can make a bird in like a little armless cat. That's what it's like, and he just probes around. I'm down with that kiwi. You love the kiwi.
How
He'd love
recent is
you.
this? Because I haven't seen him.
The last time I was there, I think it was 2010.
Okay, maybe it's been longer.
I went to the San Diego Zoo recently, and I was very happy because my fiance and I got to see the red pandas, and those are my
Yeah.
favorites. Red pandas are, without a doubt, in my book, the cutest animals to ever trod this planet.
God's green earth.
Oh my God, they are just adorable.
What were they doing when you saw them?
At first, they were sleeping, so they had them in little almost hammocks that they were just kind of chilling out in. They were chilling out in their hammocks, and then it was a hot day, which isn't because they're from the Himalayas, and they're used to just cool weather. So San Diego is not well suited for that. So I kind of felt bad for them. So it was a really hot day. All the animals were sleeping. And they were just hanging out, and then one of them went down and started rummaging around and hopping around and climbing up the tree, and it was fantastic. They didn't fight at all, which watching red pandas fight is one of the most adorable things ever. Because for those of you that don't know, a red panda is it looks almost kind of like a raccoon in a way.
Yeah.
But it has different markings. Like they're a mixture of like a raccoon and a cat. And they're like bright red, and they have little like black suits on. It looks like.
Yeah.
And whenever they fight, they're little and adorable. And to get very intimidating, they get up on their hind legs and like stretch their arms out, like, "Oh, I'm gonna scare this motherfucker," you know. And then they pounce on. They just flop on each other, and they're big on headbutts. So they're fighting, which may be ferocious for them.
Yeah.
For
the observer.
human observer, it's the most adorable fighting you've ever seen.
Are they good workers?
Yeah, they're good workers.
Some high
You know,
spots they
They
work
sell
Definitely.
it. They sell it.
yeah. Yeah, they're like, you know, kind of very Flair Steamboat.
Yeah, they have good psychology. I
Indeed.
understand, too, because everybody's just ooh and ah and
Yeah, exactly. But the first time we went to the San Diego Zoo, the red pandas were not out. And we were there for about 4 hours walking around trying to find the red pandas. And there's a lot of great animals at that zoo, but the red pandas were out, and we finally asked the zookeeper, like, "Hey, where are the red pandas?" And they said, "Well, we put them out in the children's zoo. But red pandas are temperamental, so they had to go back to their house." And we were like, that's the most adorable thing I've ever heard in my life.
They were too badass for the
They're
children.
too temperamental. Like, you know, they just couldn't handle it.
Do they hurt each other when they fight?
Probably, but I can't imagine it. It just looks so fuzzy.
They don't work stiff.
Yeah, it's so fuzzy and ginger whenever they do it, and they wrestle. And if you watch videos of them, it's just... I think when you watch them fight, there's always a cute little music that like.
Yeah.
So it just all the viciousness is just taken out, and they're adorable, and they like to eat. They eat bamboo. But in the zoos, they get a wider palette available to them.
So they have the energy to fight.
They do have the energy to fight because the bamboo makes them very lethargic because,
there's nothing in it.
There's nothing in it.
Just
so
pure cellulose and water.
It leads to breeding problems, because of poaching.
That's the problem.
The science guy.
Oh, no,
here.
it's the problem.
Yeah.
It's the problem. It's why the giant panda is a creature that's at an evolutionary dead end.
Yeah,
It's
and
because its only diet has no nutrition.
yeah,
in it.
and red pandas are omnivorous, so they can eat different types of vegetation. They eat berries, they eat eggs, they eat fish if they can catch them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Very healthy diet. I mean, that's very
Well, pandas
balanced.
ain't roulette, man. Don't bet on black with them. Go
Yeah.
with the red.
But the thing is that when they're in the zoo, they actually get carrot sticks and
Steak.
lobster. No, they get like carrot sticks and apples and stuff like
Surf
that.
and turf.
And you
TV dinners.
and Hungry Man
Icy.
Salisbury steak. Yeah,
Lasagna.
There's nothing cuter than watching a red panda eat a
Beef
Stouffer's Salisbury steak.
Red Baron Panda Pizza.
Yeah, but
Chef Boyardee.
if you look it up online and you see the Google image search of them eating, they little hands. They have the little hands that can grip things. They have the little thing that's kind of the pseudo opposable thumb, and you'll see them gripping a carrot stick and just kind of eating it, or an apple slice.
Well, do they do that thing like the black pandas where they lie on their back and they just kind of like hold the food in their mouth with their hands and feet?
Yeah, they do that too.
Like an
but
otter?
Oh, otters are cute as
Otters
shit.
are
They hold
adorable.
hands.
But they have the equipment that they are pretty evolutionarily developed. So maybe after the end times come and we're not here, the red pandas can take over.
I think it'll be a fight between them and the octopuses. But I think they'll work it out in a non-violent way. Maybe the
Because-
otters,
I
too.
want the otters to be involved.
They had the otters at the zoo. They were holding hands. It was a controversy. Because they were
hold
same-sex
hands.
otters. And they was holding hands like this.
People are
and this is a controversy.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I know.
I just want to point out to the listeners that after we mentioned otters, Mr. Goodnight and I were just nodding at each other.
But did you ever see PB&J Otter?
No,
Remember that one? It was a cartoon.
I've never seen it.
And they would do the noodle dance when they would think of ideas and shit.
The noodle dance?
Yeah, the noodle dance.
Where they do like a little wiggle? Like
Yeah,
they get all
kind of. Yeah,
straight,
and they
like
would dance
spaghetti
around, and it was like the way they would stimulate their brains by thinking was, getting jiggy and shaking their asses and shit. And they would have their stupid song, Noodle, do the noodle dance. The show was not that good. But it was called PB&J Otter. But, the otters are so goddamn, they're so goddamn cute.
when they're holding their babies.
Oh,
The
this
little
needs
otter babies.
pictures.
Have you guys ever been to a zoo, or I don't know where you would see them? I saw these at the Biodome in Montreal. There's a slide, and the otters just slide down it over and over again.
Yeah, I think they have that at the San Francisco Zoo.
I gotta say this, the Biodome ruined me on, what do they call them, capybaras?
Capybaras?
Yeah,
Why did that ruin
because they were just shitting all over the place,
Oh.
and one of them was just like sitting in the water with its own shit, just like it was like Caddyshack, just floating by like right in front of its nose and all this shit.
Oh, they were just being really cute when I was there.
Yeah, I got the shit out of it. They pulled a hamster with me,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah,
Exactly.
You've seen the video of the polar bear in the tank? Have you seen
like
that?
like
shit?
a Sherman or
Which
something.
one?
It's amazing.
There's
It's
tons.
There's one specifically. It's like
How does he fire the gun?
the polar bear enclosure is upstairs, and then downstairs you can walk down, and there's like there's a little viewing area, and you can see underwater.
Yeah.
And there's just a very short YouTube video of these people watching this polar bear swimming, and then it turns around and just lets loose just the most
Brown
poop
cloud.
you've ever seen, and then just jets away.
The
It's awesome.
Maybe he thought it was an
Baby-
octopus and it was ink.
baby polar bears. Another one. Adorable.
They
Did you guys ever
love Coca-Cola.
Did you ever see
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Have you ever seen the Klondike and Snow documentary that was on PBS? So the beginning is sad. Orphaned polar bears, because that happens because of the whole they orphan them because they want to do an availability thing with the mothers and stuff like that. I don't know if it was like
plays.
I think it was either they were abandoned because of that or the mother had died, which is
It's
sad.
like the beginning of a Disney movie.
Yeah, it's very and they find Klondike and Snow and they raise them from being little babies to being grown, and it is the most just like extended periods of little baby polar bears licking ice blocks. It is so a lot of just belly flopping into pools. It's just
I gotta say, though, polar bears is not cute animals. They're killers.
Yeah, they are.
They're the largest predator in this hemisphere. I
and they
believe.
also don't acclimate well to captivity, which is also very.
They're the
know what
only
they-
animal that's been known to hunt human beings.
Yeah, you know what they
That's
feed
rad
them?
ass.
Track them
I
and
went to
shit.
the zoo in it was in Providence or something. And they had a thing about how they care for the polar bears, and they make a thing, and it's called a blood popsicle. Because it's just like blood and meat, and they freeze it in this popsicle, and they feed it to the polar bear. And as I'm saying, polar bears is one of them things like orcas, you'll kill a whale. The animals that people think is cute, but they're badass killers. If you
Yeah.
ever seen on those nature documentaries, they're eating a beluga or something, and you see that polar bear's face just stained red with
Yeah.
blood.
Yeah,
It's intense.
I saw
Yeah.
one specifically where the beluga, or there was two little beluga whales that had just swam too far underneath the ice and couldn't get back.
He was trapped. I saw that.
Yeah, and there was like a little hole, and they kept having to come up for air, and there were just 3 polar bears just swatting at him, and they eventually caught one.
And then they wash it down with a Coke after they. But as I'm saying, killer whales is the same way. They are. I mean, you think of something that's as bigger than a great white shark,
Yeah.
but instead of being a mindless killing machine, it's actually got a
Calculated.
brain too.
Yeah, well, there's like videos of those things just like riding in like what looks like 1 foot of water maybe, and just kind of skimming the beach and like picking up seals and stuff.
And just tossing
them. Yeah, it's great.
Some animals are not meant to be in cute and in captivity, and certainly not meant to do synchronized swimming in Florida.
But
Things like this.
but you can put a polar bear on a folder, a school folder, and
Very
that's cute.
Lisa Frank. Same with killer whales.
Yeah.
They had
All
those
over
on
that
Lisa
stuff.
Frank?
Yeah.
Lisa
polar
Frank's
bears.
earlier stuff was better. The ballet dancing bunnies and the unicorns and things. Her
I
later
think
period,
dolphins.
Yeah,
Is that later?
when she got into doing like brats type things, like girls with big shoes and no noses and
Gross.
things.
Lisa.
It's like later Peter
Shame.
Max or later
Shame upon the
or
House
later
of
Dali.
Frank.
I mean,
exactly.
later Dali was
definitely she's one. I went to the Lisa Frank show with the Momar, and I did not like the later work.
Yeah, I
have to
know.
say.
It's just like Dali. All of his later stuff was just dressers fighting beds, fighting King George or something like that.
And Lisa Frank had her own brats with
Yeah.
girls with big shoes.
I didn't know about that. That's
no
so
noses.
sad.
It is sad. But you know what? She's probably past that. Is Lisa Frank still alive?
I don't know.
What do we know about Lisa Frank, the
I don't
woman?
know.
That's what I want to know.
I never really thought about her. I
I've
just
always
thought it
Is she a real thing though?
I
Is
don't
she
know.
a
Or
real
is she-
entity?
Or is she like Jack Chick and she doesn't actually draw that shit?
Or is she just something that was created?
Like a pen name.
Yeah.
Like there's like a
Nom de
a
plume.
collective name of a collection of artists that are really
Like
into
James Bond or
that
something?
sort of no like it's that
I know
there's a
what you
group
mean,
of
yeah.
there's like a group of artists
Yeah.
and they can't all be individuals, so they have to create some character that's like a shibboleth of who they are.
Like those Hardy Boys books and all that, and Nancy Drew. They're credited to an author, but it was actually a syndicate that.
Yeah,
wrote the
exactly.
books.
Like William Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Like William Shakespeare could have been like written very much like a sitcom, and it's just we're all called William Shakespeare.
Lisa Ann Frank, born 1955, American
An
artist.
unfortunate middle name, by the way.
Precisely.
That's kind of
Yeah.
exactly what I was thinking. From Tucson, Arizona, she's known for producing colorful.
Of course she's
images.
from Arizona.
Yep.
Is she alive?
Yeah, still alive. Frank is an alumna of Kingswood School, and she divorced James Green, the CEO and co-shareholder.
Oh, her post-divorce work, she really. It was like Blood on the Tracks by Bob Dylan. She really. I mean, you can see the little sad faces on them bunnies trying to do an arabesque or something like this.
But they're still like neon green.
Yeah, well, color. It shows her inner happiness, just waiting to break free through all the heartache.
I'm Lisa Frank, and for everyone who wants to know if I do exist, I do exist. I'm a real person. What encompasses the world of Lisa Frank? That would first and foremost probably be rainbows, and then hearts, music notes, teddy bears, unicorns, stars.
When I was living in this apartment, I think it was my senior year of college, and in the mornings I would wake up and I would just hear like coming from the ceiling, just like this, and I just thought it was, squirrels or something, and then it got to the point where it's so irritating. I finally called pesty critters.
Yeah.
Not pesky.
Pesty critters.
Pesty critters. And
There's
it was-
always one guy in every town that's like the guy
Yeah.
that chases off.
And he showed up like camo pants.
He's just waiting to have
Well,
his
he
own
had to be
reality
hardcore
show.
because he was from Alabama.
Dude,
Like
he was
Dale Gribble.
so hardcore. No, he was totally Dale Gribble, and he showed up and he was just like, he's like, yeah, there's squirrels up there. We'll find them. And so he put out a bunch of traps to find them, and no squirrels ever got in the traps. And so after a week, I was just thinking, I was like, well, fuck, maybe it's rats or something. So I got all 3 kinds of rat traps. I got the sticky trap, I got the poison food, and I got the classic, just the one where you put the cheese, the one where you put the cheese and it just
the Tom and Jerry classic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the classics. I put
the Victor trap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Victor traps. I pulled down my ceiling tile and put all 3 of those up in the ceiling and then just left it. And then one day I came home and I was just like, it was this horrible smell. I was like, oh God.
Oh, jeez.
There's going to be a dead rat. And so I
Rivers.
I get the step ladder. I open the tile. I check the traps. None of them have been touched at all. And I was like, well, what the fuck? And I shine a light up there, and I just see a striped tail, and just went, ah!
I called it.
Almost fell off the fuck. It was a raccoon.
I called it as a scratching, didn't I?
A bunch of
Yeah.
there was 3 or 4 raccoons just living in my ceiling, and the bad smell was I'd made chicken the night before, and I put the chicken in the trash can. So that's
But
what.
have you ever seen baby raccoons?
Oh,
I had a
my
bunch of them in my
Kids are-
ceiling.
Yeah,
Oh.
well, yeah, they go into the garbage and all this, and
There's-
they're cute.
Talk
you
about the
seen-
hands, man.
Have you seen?
Oh yeah, it's all about the hands.
Have any of you seen Raccoon Nation? It's on Netflix.
No, what is that?
It is a documentary about how awesome raccoons are. Essentially, they go in because Toronto is overrun with raccoons, and it talks about how raccoons have adapted to urban areas.
Oh yeah, they have.
Yeah. So there's a distinct difference between country raccoons and urban raccoons, and it basically follows around these raccoons, particularly a mother and her 8 raccoon kits, or 3 or something like that. I don't remember. And she's teaching the raccoon kits how to forage and climb, and it's amazing. And they have little raccoon trackers, so they show where the raccoons are going and their territorial patterns. Lots of cute raccoons. Lots of just shows up. Again, it's one of those things where they kind of give the idea that when the humans leave, the raccoons may take over
Raccoon
because they're
Nation.
just
They have their own government. too,
Exactly.
Their own polis. With probably fairer laws than ours.
Yeah.
Food is free for anybody. It's the way it should be. Every man's right. Skunks are another one that are really adapted to urban environment too.
I saw a skunk in my front yard the other day.
Yeah.
Staring at me.
Oh yeah. They give you the warning before they give you the spray.
Yeah. I just quietly walked back inside.
Yeah. But when they walk, they're so cute because they're like those things like mongooses and all that. Or what would they just kind of like
prairie dogs. And
They just
like
kind of fall
squirrels.
forward, like
Yeah.
they tumble forward, because it's almost like their front legs are too short or something.
Yeah.
So they look like they're always just sort of falling forward on themselves.
yeah, red pandas do that.
Yeah.
Brutus, my dog that I mentioned before, got sprayed by a skunk. It was Brutus and my dad's friend Jim, who everybody called P, short for Sweet Pea, because he looked like Sweet Pea.
Popeye?
From Popeye,
So
yeah.
was he bald and
Yeah,
wore,
he
like,
was bald
swaddling
and
clothes
very
all the time?
and very little. And P got drunk and was walking Brutus, and they both got annihilated by a skunk. And they had to. And there. I wish there were photos of it, but my dad would just tell me these stories of P having to bathe himself in tomato sauce and then having to bathe the dog in tomato sauce because there was no way my dad was going to
Sweet
bathe
pea in
Brutus.
tomato sauce.
Yeah, so it's like a guy covered in tomato sauce bathing a dog in tomato sauce.
I like the fact that everybody in your neighborhood had the same name as a Popeye character too, because it was also a Brutus, wasn't there?
Well, Brutus is the dog.
Yeah,
but there
it
was
was
no
also
Pluto.
Well, there was sometimes he was called Brutus in some of the cartoons.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's right.
true. That's true. My dad was big on nicknames. There's always these stories of, Meat was living in the back of the house in a teepee, and it's like, what? Meat?
You got your dead skunk in the middle of the road. Dead skunk in the middle of the road. Dead skunk in the middle of the road. Stinking to high heaven.
If you guys were to classify yourself as an animal, Like if you had an animal, not a spirit animal, but like if you are an animal, what would you be? You know, like based on your personality or something like that. Have you ever gave any thought to this? Because I sure have.
I have too.
What's your
Either a dog or a turkey vulture.
Turkey vulture.
Turkey vulture is my favorite bird. It's one of my favorite animals altogether. They're smart. They let the world just go to pot and then they clean up afterwards. Someday everything else is going to be dead, and the turkey vultures are going to be living in their own turkey vulture utopia, just eating everything that's died.
I always have thought of this in terms of like what my Patronus would be, you know, like from Harry Potter. And I thought I would be like a Cocker Spaniel dog.
I could definitely see that.
See that?
Yeah.
The same hair.
Yeah, that's kind of cute, honey. That's
And you're both little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is so cute. I wish you could see how cute this whole thing is.
Yeah, I think that's pretty spot on. I think a Cocker Spaniel would probably be the way Rivers, what would...
I don't know. I was like bears.
Yeah, you're very bear-like.
Bears
You
are
could
good.
be a bear.
You know, they're industrious. They're resourceful. They know when it's time to chill.
Yeah.
For 6 months. You know
You're a big guy, so I think
Yeah.
a bear could definitely work.
I like I'd go with like an eastern black bear.
I think that's a good
'Cause they're
one.
not that intense. They're
Oh, man, there was this place up in New Hampshire called Cliffsides, and it was one of them shitty kind of cafeteria restaurants, and their logo was where the bear eats, because the bears would come over to the dumpster and eat the garbage. And the town made them stop doing that because they was attracting bears to their dumpster, so they had to stop advertising that the bear eats their garbage,
Yeah.
which means they basically had the best garbage in town.
Have you seen the Bear Show on National Geo Network, where it's the guy
Yogi?
Casey Johnson, I think his name is, and he's
Yogi.
Yogi. Yeah. It's a real life thing. Yogi's real. No,
Yeah.
but he's
He's
this
smarter
guy
than the
Casey
average bear. He
Johnson,
could
who's
talk.
a
There you go.
who's a naturalist, and he raised this grizzly bear that he named Brutus from when it was a small cub, and he basically the show was about him and Brutus and him showing what bears can do with Brutus.
Does it kill him at the end? He goes, "Et tu, Bruti?"
No, the bear was his best man at his wedding. So there's all these
That must
things.
have really pissed off his brother.
I bet a lot of the people he invited did not go because of that.
God, I want that now.
I'd love to go to the wedding, but I'm afraid of the bear.
I
sorry.
I
bear
have a
hangs-
lot of really close friends. I would rather have a bear as my
The
best
bear
friend.
How did
hangs
they
out-
fit the bear for the tuxedo?
Or what if it's a surprise? They don't say there's going to be a bear there, and then you show
That
up.
would be amazing.
Well, they have the bear. There's photos of the bear. The bear hangs out in a hot tub. It's like really weird. Like the bear just chills out in a hot tub.
He's got fish in the
Like
hot tub.
24/7.
They put some salmon in there
It's
for him.
almost like a beer ad from the 80s. And he eats at the table at Thanksgiving. But he does things where he
Fucking awesome.
where he does these kind of seminars and these videos.
the bear? Those seminars?
Yeah, with the guy, and the guy shows off why you shouldn't leave food out, like in your car. So he'll do a thing where he'll leave food out in the car and shut the car up,
And the bear
and the
flips the
bear
car.
rips the car open. And you just see the bear ripping the car open and getting the food, and then cut later you see him hanging out in the hot tub.
Whoa, this is like a brown bear or something, like a
It's a grizzly.
Yeah.
It's a full-on grizzly.
Ain't no eastern black bear
Yeah,
ripping
I know.
no car open.
Yeah,
Is
no,
he
no.
trained to do that for the presentation?
Yeah, well, he's raised the bear since it was
So it's
small.
not the bear's just doing that.
Yeah, because he's just like, oh, food, and he just
Okay.
rips
Oh, man.
Is it the same car every time?
not the same car every time.
It's like a stage in Street Fighter when you attack the car, that bonus
right.
round. You like bears, honey?
I do like bears. I was thinking about koala bears, actually, and thinking
Yeah.
about red pandas and how they're not really pandas,
yeah.
and how koala bears aren't really bears.
No, they're more like marsupials.
Well, they are, yeah.
Really. Yeah.
But they're sloths. Adorable.
Oh,
Well,
my
yeah,
God.
the koala's lifestyle is really similar to the sloth.
Sloths are so adorable.
When I was in second grade, we were learning about the rainforest, and we had to pick a rainforest animal and write like a story from the perspective of that animal. And I wrote mine as a sloth, and my teacher liked it so much that she made me go up to the front office and read it to all the ladies that worked at the front office.
Did you read it really slow, like?
What did the sloth do in the story?
I think
Not a
you
lot.
just like ate some stuff and like crawled around, but I don't
I
even
do that every day.
I just remember
you're a
being so
sloth.
I
embarrassed.
am actually.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That would be a sloth. That's
The
cool.
day is the sloth is just bird.
Do you
Another
still
bird.
have the sloth thing anywheres?
I bet my mom has it somewhere.
Oh,
I don't know.
You don't have the face for a sloth.
Yeah, I know. I don't look sloth-like. I live
Sloths are
lifestyle.
actually kind of gross, though. Like they move so slow that like
They got
bacteria will
moss on
grow
them and
on
stuff.
them
yeah, they go green.
But they
or
got
like
cute
punk
smiles.
rock.
They got the big smile. It's
They
just
only
like,
shed like once a week.
yeah.
They're definitely riding that line between like scary and cute because they can be a little scary.
Yeah, they're
looking.
Well, their
uncanny.
hands are very.
Yeah,
they
and
got,
there
like,
are
the
there are
Wolverine
videos
claws.
like the octopus ones where it's just a sloth like crawling towards you, and it
Like
can go
zombies.
either way. It's kind of cute.
And they got them claws.
Yeah, it's like Wolverine.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
really is, yeah.
I have an identity crisis because I don't know what kind of animal I am.
I think you're the red panda.
No, my fiance. It's decided my fiance is a red panda because
Can you be a couple of red pandas?
we could, but she definitely has she has brown eyes. I don't have red panda type eyes. You know, she's definitely a red panda, but I don't know what I am. There's owls. We've knocked around owls.
That's a good one.
The whole
small-
professorial thing.
They're smart like you.
Yeah.
A bear,
They
like
have
small
an
bears,
Yeah.
or owls, or cheetahs. So we it's
Cheetahs.
kind of one of those
You're a
things
bit
that's
lanky
kind of,
for an owl, though.
Yeah.
I have to say. But I can see it, especially with the
owl.
glasses.
I think
Yeah.
you're specifically an owl wearing a graduation cap.
Like
How
a
many
Medusa.
licks does it take to get to the center of the
Let's find out. 1, 2, 3.
3.
I never made it without biting.
Did you know that if
I know a girl
you
did
if
that,
you
but
write
I said no biting.
if you write Tootsie Pops and say that you counted out how many licks it takes, they'll send you like a little certificate congratulating you on finding out.
But not free Tootsie Pops.
Well, you don't want
No.
to see that's cheap research on that because that way they can average it together and
Yeah.
really find out. That's how they get all the data. You understand?
But I don't know what
I feel like owl.
owl. But owls are so played out now.
Wow.
That's the thing that's.
no, but they were the symbol of Athens. They
Yeah,
were on
it's
their
true.
coins and shit.
Yeah. Monkey.
No, I don't
What
know if
about
I'm a
like
monkey.
a llama?
Llamas are fucking terrifying. They are like they're mean as shit.
Did you
What about an
Camels are mean.
alpaca?
Huh?
What about an alpaca?
I've never encountered an alpaca.
They're small.
Llamas. Okay, here's the thing. My great grandfather was murdered by moonshiners.
Oh, I thought you were about to say by
by
a
a
llama.
llama.
No, it's,
Yeah, this turned into something else.
It turned into like Monty Python all of a
I'm
sudden.
I'm coming back. He was murdered by moonshiners, right? And the church that he went to put up a little plaque on the side of the road in Woodland, Alabama, to mark the spot where he was killed. And I had seen it a few years ago. Like my dad showed it to me. It was like J.R. Cosper murdered on this spot by criminals, July 12th, 1919. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then a couple of years ago, I was like, man, I was up there hanging out at my grandparents' house. I was like, fuck, I want to see that again. So they told me where it was, and I went back, and now the stone is still there. But instead of being on the side of the road, someone bought the land. The stone is in the middle of a pack of llamas. And I got there, and I'm like Indiana Jones with snakes. I'm like, why did it have to be llamas? If it was any other animal, I would have hopped the fence and gotten a good picture. But it was llamas. I was like,
What I
fuck
expected
that.
you to say is that you went and then like a llama smoking a joint showed up.
Yeah, it was like that guy
and
that used to
told
be on
you
the
something
camel.
was like the intermediary between your great uncle and you, and he had like a message, but
Maybe
it went
that
through
could
like a
have
Joe
happened.
Camel style.
If you had been brave and
If I'd
gone
been-
in,
yeah.
maybe that would have happened.
I just don't want to get
story-
spit on.
That
man.
story
They do
went.
They
spit.
spit and they kick and they bite.
That
It's
story
fucked
went
up.
from being so Alabama into something completely different.
I don't know,
with
like
the
some guys that
llamas
used to
showed
work
up
for
in it.
Intel are just like, hey, I want a llama farm. Where's the cheap land? Oh, Northern Alabama.
There's a bunch of llamas down there. There's llamas in Auburn.
And a story-
We
and
got
a story-
emos too.
And a story that starts with my granddad was killed by moonshiners and ends with llamas.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
I told you I was coming back to it.
Did you ever see the thing on Sesame Street with me and my llama?
Me and my llama.
Yeah.
My pajama.
No, but no. The girl takes this girl who lives in New York City, taking her pet llama to the dentist,
Yeah, I remember that.
which is absurd. Because how can you, even if you have a rent-controlled apartment, how can you have an apartment big enough to have a llama in it?
It
Yeah.
must smell terrible.
And then who is the specialized llama dentist?
I know. Does he use that brush on the patients after?
I know. And this wasn't in the 70s, so this was an era before massive sterilization of instruments. So it's like you came in after the llama, you're going to get the same toothbrush as the llama.
It's not like the vet also does dental work.
Maybe,
It's
I don't know.
is that part of it? Is that part of being a vet?
I think so.
You would have to put a llama completely under to get anywhere near its mouth. That thing is
Not this one.
Not
Those
this
things
one.
are fucked up, man.
And it was Sesame
so
Street,
upset.
they're not good. They're not good animals.
I like llamas.
Afraid of the most harmless
I like the
damn animal.
idea of them. When you're actually face to face with a llama, they're terrifying.
What about a Shetland pony?
Oh, those are adorable.
That's what I
Just wanted to
pictured
bring
you
it
riding
up.
on back at the beginning with your pony
Remember
ride.
that? Yeah. Did you guys see when Scotland did those promotional things for tourism, where it's the Shetland ponies and they're wearing Shetland wool sweaters?
I've seen the penguins in sweaters,
Penguins and sweaters, yeah, because
they
they
get
get
cold.
yeah, they get
Yeah.
cold.
and they get the oil. Like
Yeah.
where there's oil spills, they put them on there to protect their coats.
Yeah,
but
I've
they're
seen
like
that.
adorable. But I need to see this pony in sweater thing.
Oh, it just reminded me of some penguins. You go and you see them, right? And there's always those few penguins that are just kind of standing off, looking at on the horizon like this. And they look like they got their back turned and they're taking a piss at the beach or a campground. You know what I'm talking about? It's like, I'll be back in a minute, guys. And they all look like they're doing that.
Werner Herzog has a movie about Antarctica, I think. And
Oh yeah. I haven't seen that one,
some
but
of the
yeah.
penguins go crazy and they separate from the group. And instead of just like walking the direction that everyone else walks, they'll just like wander off towards the mountains.
Does Klaus Kinski narrate it?
It's very, he's like, these deranged penguins, like he calls them deranged.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then my favorite part of it is that they say that even if you picked up the penguin and brought it back and tried to make it go with all the other penguins, it would just head straight back for the mountain. And
Thus is the way of nature.
This movie isn't sad, is it?
It's Werner Herzog,
Yeah,
so
it's
yeah,
Werner
it's always
Herzog.
sad.
I don't recommend watching the movie. I just that part.
He can take something just run of the mill and turn it
Because this
sad.
should have been a celebration of their individuality or some shit. He's getting away from the Gemeinschaft or some shit like that. Or is that a gazelle shaft, Pat? You can get me on that.
I think it's a gazelle shaft.
Okay, he's getting away from the gazelle shaft. So I get the gazelles and the Gemeins kind of mixed up.
Timothy Treadwell believed that nature would not destroy him. It tore him to pieces, screaming. That movie, holy fuck! Grizzly Man.
That guy was an idiot.
Yeah, he's an idiot, and they
Simplest review of that.
He's a dumbass.
He's a
He's
dummy.
an anti like Casey Johnson Brutus.
I mean, first, if you give two shits about nature, you let it alone.
Yeah, don't go. Yeah, well, then the best part, of course, is when they have the audio.
and then he had to rope his girlfriend into the
Right.
whole thing?
Well, they have the audio of him and his girlfriend being torn to pieces by bears. And
I refuse to watch that movie.
Well, no. That's the thing. They don't play it in the movie. In the movie, they have a shot of Werner Herzog with headphones on, listening to it, talking
I
to
cannot
Treadwell's
listen.
friends, and he goes, "Beverly, you must never listen to this. It will be the elephant in the room for the rest of your life. You must never ever hear this." And then he fucking gave it to NPR, and they played it on NPR. I was like, all right, whatever, dude. Come on.
Till they start up. Bum, 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 bum.
It's nearly that time of year, time for turkey and dressing and pecan pie. But as you reach for that bag of pecans, you may get sticker shock. Prices are up 20 to 30% this year. And what's driving those higher pecan prices is soaring demand in China.
Paige, where can people find you on the internet?
At Paige Weldon on Twitter.
and
And at thehiggsweldon.com. It's a humor website. We post written works and cartoons, all funny stuff, 5 days a week. Me and Robin Higgins would do it.
Alrighty, well, thank you for joining us. This is The Goods from the Woods. We'll see you next time.
We work for that cigarette country, but you can't smoke out here. 'Cause if the dust doesn't kill you, watch out for the bear.
The Goods from the Woods is mixed and edited by me, Rivers Langley, and distributed by Westcast Network. Our theme song is composed by DJ Smiles. You can find him online at djsmiles.net.